But we've been arguing, not just in court, but socially as well, that when girls, young women present to doctors, to medics, saying all the stuff that we know what to say about how really, you're a man, blah, 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 they get on testosterone, which, as we know, has a very powerful effect. Is that the experience you had? Because we're told all the time that it's way too difficult, that waiting lists are off the scale, that it's not easy at all to transition. Who's telling the truth?
It really varies, honestly. I mean, it's changing all the time and it just varies. So I transitioned when I was 16. I had to go to a gender therapist for a couple months, and then I got a letter for blockers. And then I had to get more letters to get on testosterone. I had to get 2 more letters to get mastectomy. I mean, so there's a lot of hoops. And I did, jump through all the hoops. I don't know. I feel like it's those conversations are really hard because I think very poorly of these interventions. I really hate them. It did a lot of harm for me. And I just think, if you cut into anyone, they bleed. I think surgery is inherently, traumatic to your body and can be traumatic emotionally, even when it is absolutely needed and necessary. So I don't think highly of any cosmetic surgery or intervention. But at the same time, I think a lot of this comes back to this idea that we just need to fix the therapists and they need to be better therapists. And I think that's kind of misguided. My therapist followed all the standards. It wasn't that fast, really. If I had get in their paradigm where I'm a kid who's about to kill myself, it seems like a reasonable enough time frame. I don't know. I think we kind of need more social change than just changing the gatekeeping structure. And there's certain angles where it's trying to stop the insurance coverage, and it's honestly, people will just pay out of pocket and get predatory medical loans for it. It's just so convoluted. I don't know. It's a mess.
So what's it like living as a detransitioned woman, as a lesbian today? Was that a huge shift? And how is it coming back to or finding your identity? As you say in the book, you found yourself.
It's honestly, it was a big shift. It's crazy. It makes me feel pretty stressed out about people who transition as little kids, because I transitioned when I was 16. I wasn't even really passing until I was probably 17 or 18, really 18. And my concept of being a woman, being female, was being a teenager. It felt really scary because it felt like I was going to have to be a teenager again. I didn't have any concept of living as female that wasn't being a kid. So, when I think of that applying to someone who transitioned when they were 5, what does that feel like? I don't know. It's you just, when you're trans, it's there's just this layer of obfuscation and inherent dissociation in relating to people. You've got this barrier that you can kind of always rely on as a safety thing. You can't talk earnestly about your childhood. You can't reveal different things about yourself. And for me, at least, knowing that who I was presenting to them wasn't exactly true made me feel a lot safer. And losing that and presenting to people in a way that felt more honest was really vulnerable and scary. It felt like I had to be a kid again. It felt like I was losing this security blanket of just lying, just lying about who I am. I'm not being myself. So what does it matter what they think of me? I don't know. It's really intense. And you never stop having to explain it to everyone. If you are visually distinct, I had a mastectomy, and I am not, I'm not a little lady who, I wouldn't be flat, you're always going to have to explain it. And I can see why people want to avoid that. But ultimately, the cost was too high. I couldn't if you check out of everything and you're always being someone you aren't, then you cheapen a lot of your experiences and relationships.